All right, the highlights from GreatStockPicks.com. Thursday's live trading chat room session had a real nice day. Again, I didn't make many calls, but try to be targeted in the ones I do make. Lionsgate, LGF, had this sell off into earnings, then the gap up, nice volume after earnings, and it looked good. And now it's sold off for 3 days. So this landed on my bounce watch. Has some support to the left. Also have whatever it's called, Breaking Dawn 2 released at midnight tonight. So thought it might get some excitement today, and then I'll add today's candle in, and I'll show you how we called it in chat. I called it. I'll have to zoom in a little bit here, but this is what it looked like at the open. 15-minute candles here. You had a nice narrow one here. Now the market, because these are 15-minute candles, the market had been open for about 45 minutes. This is the opening candle for the day. Then you had a lower high still. So I called it over this candle with a stop below this candle, 1526, 1514, and it triggered. And then I also called this for our SMS call today. Once it came up here and started basing, it's very close to breaking the high of the day. Okay, a high of day break on this one, I thought might get some nice buying because of because of the chart. It was overdue for a bounce, and you had Breaking Dawn 2 coming out tonight. So I just thought if that can light up the new highs ticker at all, they might pile in. Okay. Plus, even if it wasn't for that, this would have been on bounce watch, going by just going by the chart, that 3-4 days down in a row. Okay. So you had the early high here of 1538.22. I don't know how that happened, so I'll call it 1539. Then you had this tight base below that high. So it still hasn't broken its early high. So I sent out the SMS pick at 1532 with a stop down below the low of the day. Okay, and then, anyway, there you get the base break and through the high of the day, and it meanders for a while and then really gets going right here. And then anytime, these are 15s, I'll switch to 5s. You've seen this in our videos before, but I'll reiterate it here. Anytime we are in something, and remember, our original call in the chat was somewhere like right about here, right? And then the SMS call was right in the middle of this base here. Either one, anytime we're in something long, okay, and it's just chopping around, not doing much. We just honor our stop, okay. But then when you get this shape like this, we're sellers, okay. We always sell into shape. So a lot of us were selling right up here, very close to the high of the day, in the 1570s. Not bad gain from the 1530s or the mid 1520s, whichever one they took. And it rolled over there at the end of the day, but still closed above the call. And I'm not in. I'm not in anymore. I don't generally hold overnight, so just a nice day trade for me. Another call I made was MNST, Monster Beverage. This thing had a nasty gap down, as it tends to do. Had a nasty gap down and then was just chopping around. Now see this volume spike here? This is what caught my attention, and it still hadn't broken the high of the day. The high of the day here is 43.48. We get a volume spike. Because of the gap down, there's a good chance if this lights up the new highs ticker, it's probably going to go. So this volume spike was like my dinner bell. And I told everybody, hey, I like this here before the high of day break. 43.47 is where I got filled. Worst case stop, anytime I have a trade I'm taking off of a volume spike and coupled with a chart that I like, very near a possible catalyst price, if you will, okay, my stop always goes below that same 5-minute candle. Okay, so 43.47 was the long call. Worst case stop 43.19. It's just that simple. If it comes back down and takes out the lows of this volume candle, guess what? I'm probably wrong. Okay, so from 43.47, now we get the high of day break and a nice rally, and then it meanders for a while, and then watch how this closes. Climbs right up into the close. So this from 43.47 goes up $1.47 in our favor on 28 cents risk. And I did keep a few shares to sell in this rally. I told everybody this could be an all-day deal. And right after the initial pop, I'm selling some, and I moved my stop to break even. So it was like having some free shares of MNST. Loved it. And I believe GameStop, I forgot. I was going to say, I believe that was the only 2 calls I made today. I did have another suggestion that I'll show you in a minute. There was a couple other calls. I apologize. GameStop, I called. And I'll tell you the thinking behind this one. GameStop, GME, looked like this, okay? And this was interesting to me because you had this this real nice move, then you had this crazy action during the conference call. But note, here's the early high of the day, and now after the crazy action, right, then it goes into just a sideways move, and now all of a sudden the bulls start to win. So now you've got a new lower high from the high of the day, and then you've got this tight base. So my call was basically over this recent high. What did I say? There it is, 24.56 was my entry idea, which is basically right in here. And the worst case stop 20 cents below. I'll get all these lines out of the way, and you can see it popped right here, and it just didn't follow through. We didn't get the high of day break. Now this wasn't just based on an intraday chart. It was also the fact that, look at the volume. I knew it had huge volume today, and it was basically in breakout territory, up above almost any recent high. So that was the thinking. It was the intraday coupled with the post chaos of the conference call, and it seemed like the bulls were starting to win. And as I said in our wrap up video for the members, there's a lesson in every stock trade that works and the ones that don't. And even this one that didn't break out afterwards, guess what? It also didn't roll over. And I'm kind of glad that happened, because the lesson there is anything can happen. It could rally. Doesn't mean if it doesn't rally that it's an automatic short and it's going to roll over. Sometimes, especially in the day of HFTs, sometimes you get this nonsense for the final hour. And look at almost every other candle a different color. When this didn't work and stopped me out, I didn't go back to it. Okay, I didn't take the trade, but it would have stopped me out if I would have taken it. It actually triggered when I was looking away. But the lesson here is that stocks can do this, okay? They don't have to necessarily go up or down. Sometimes they can just go sideways. And I don't try to, if something triggers and stops me out, I just don't keep trying to play it. You would drive yourself crazy. You could have shorted every time you got a red candle thinking it's rolling over. Then you go long and you'd be wrong every time. So, there's a lesson in every trade. And then late in the day, CTRP. Let me show you this here. This is what it looked like when I typed in a very simple 2 words, if you count a symbol as one of the words, a very simple 2 words in the chat room. I typed in CTRP shape. Now, that wouldn't mean anything if it was your first day in our chat room. You'd be like, okay, that's great. What the heck does that mean? But several members know exactly what it means, and it was forming what we call a PFPD, or a potential final push down. I'm sure you've seen this in our videos. This thing, it has to be a stock that's grinding lower all day, just grinding lower, and then you get that what we call shape change. You get that stair step straight down on increasing volume. I mean, it just met the parameters. Now, I did not give a trigger or a stop on this one. All I did was type out CTR shape, and you'd be shocked how many people made money off that one little post. What we look for there is typically you'll get a V bottom if you're right, okay, if this is in fact the low of the day. And you'd play this basically like a 5s trigger, the first break of a previous 5-minute candle's high, which in this case would have been 1824 with a low of day stop. And look at this, for the rest of the day, it just ran up all the way to 1860. And I saw 3 or 4 people making money just off the fact that I typed in CTRP shape, because it does meet our potential final push down parameters. And that's a perfect example of one. When they work, you get that V bottom and it rallies the rest of the day. And I think that might have been it for me. DHI, huge miss. Had this on Bounce Watch, and I mean, this met 2 or 3 different entries that we teach, and I just didn't catch any of them. I was looking elsewhere at the time, but a beautiful reversal here in the home builders, and what a rally. And I did try to call, this is the only reason I'm showing this now, is I did try to call this about 1846 on this little tail right here for a possible bounce, and it went to 1850 something. I took a sandwich out of some of the money, and then I killed the rest flat. This, I don't know, this was an errant tick, so ended up with a flat trade there in DHI. And I don't mean to leave anything out. I think that was everything I called today, between MNST and Lionsgate LGF. Had a real nice day. Also, there was an early scalp in JCPenney's. I'm not even going to go into it. It's not worth it. It was in the first 5 minutes. Got about a dime out of that, and then it came back to my entry, and I was back out. So have a great night. Excellent teamwork in chat today, guys, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.